Yeah, enough of the Washington, D.C. stuff and Ted Cruz and Maria Campbell. How about some games? We got games. And today, May 28th, is exactly 100 days to September 5th and the first full week of college football's season. That will include the Texas Longhorns. You heard Patrick Osborne mention at the top of the hour headlines, the Longhorns are going to play 2:30 in the afternoon at DKR, so it's going to be a hot game on Labor Day weekend. 2:30 against Texas State. It's the first ever meeting since they've been Texas State, but Patrick came up with one when they were the Southwest Texas Teachers College back in the day. But I believe this is the first official meeting of Texas and Texas State. The schools are separated by 30 miles of I-35. They'll play 2:30 in the afternoon. And, of course, Texas State under the direction of former Longhorn quarterback G.J. Kinney. Doing a great job there at Texas State.
1930. Texas won 36-0.
Yeah.
Texas State has never scored against Texas.
I'm not going to count that one. That's not Texas State. That's Southwest Texas Junior Teachers College.
The normal school?
Yeah, this is Texas. If anything before, 1930.
We were just getting started with the Great Depression, right?
That's right.
1929?
Just climbing into that thing.
Hell yeah.
Texas State Bobcats, G.J. Kinney, that's the first game, 2:30.
That's awful, by the way.
It is, and made for TV.
We get to sit in the parking lot for that tailgate we do. That'll be fun.
11:30 we'll be there.
I'm excited for the tailgate. I'm not excited for that heat.
We'll be there at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm in. We got shade down there. Come on, man. It's football. I'm not going to complain about heat, I promise. Because,
well, I will.
Well, why? You only get 12. You only get 6 of these every year. Of course I'm not going to complain about the heat or the rain or the cold. It's football.
I'm worried about the students. I think they've changed where the student section is. But for students, it's first come, first serve, or at least it was when I was there, and we were just there on the east side of the stadium, so you just had to sit there in the sun for 3 hours before the game started. By the time the game started, you didn't even want to be there.
Hey, get a hat, get some sunscreen, we'll hydrate yourself. I only get 6 or 7 of these every year. I am not going to complain about it. It's 2:30. TV decides that. TV pays the freight. PV's running this whole thing. Sorry. Then it's 6:30 with Ohio State. We know that's a pretty big game. College game day will be here. That's the following week. Then UTSA is a night game, 7 o'clock before they head off to Knoxville, Tennessee. It's interesting. Here's what we know now, because the SEC at their spring meetings put out their, the schedule, the games as they know them. So the first 3 weeks of games are now out for the SEC. 1, 2, and 3. 100 days from now, 107 days from now, 114 days from now, if you do the math. But you know what the actual first game of the SEC schedule is? Because I don't think the SEC has a 0-week game. It's Missouri's playing on a Thursday night against somebody. The Missouri Tigers play the first SEC game. Here it is. They're playing Arkansas Pine Bluff, September the 3rd. Missouri hosting them. So that's on SEC Network. Get ready. But here's the highlights that I was able to pick through of the games that have been announced just for you. Texas with 2:30 with Texas State, 6:30 Ohio State, 7 o'clock UTSA. Before their trip to Knoxville, no time set yet there on that one. But we know this now. Tennessee is going to play in Atlanta the week previous against Georgia Tech. So here's what I would say. Texas will get a pretty good scout, just like Tennessee will get to see what Texas is all about when they play Ohio State, and then UTSA the following week. You'll get to see. It's like Tennessee's, Georgia Tech's a pretty good team. Brett Key's building that program. We know the Volunteers have a new defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. Longhorn fans know him from his Oklahoma State days and Ohio State days. So you'll get to see the new quarterback at Tennessee. Pretty good. They're going to have to go in with a pretty good game plan to beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta. And you'll get to see that the week before. Obviously, Texas plays Ohio State, so we'll get a lot of there. So,
yeah.
The fear would be you get Tennessee playing a bunch of nobody in the first couple of weeks, and then you got to play them in their building, and they can disguise stuff. I think that game would minimize that for Tennessee. That's week 4 in the Smoky Mountains.
There's a few good games week 1. I mean, nothing like that. It's going to burn the house down.
Well, here's the other highlights I took. So I take the first 3 weeks of games.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer in his 3rd season at Alabama. They're going to host East Carolina in week 1, but by week 2, they're playing an SEC game at Kentucky. This is part of that 9-game schedule. So right. Alabama goes home with East Carolina, on the road to Kentucky. That's Will Stein's debut, the new head coach at Kentucky, replacing Mark Stoops. Will Stein, of course, with Austin ties, was a coach at Lake Travis at one point, was at Oregon, running the offense there. He's now at Kentucky. Well, how about that? So Alabama, Kalen DeBoer's 3rd year, East Carolina at Kentucky, then back home to play Florida State. And the Seminoles beat them last year.
By a lot.
In Tallahassee. So there's a revenge game. I don't know what Coach Nolan's going to have this year at Florida State.
Florida State, who got rolled by Florida, by the way.
Yeah. Speaking of Will Stein and the Wildcats, how about his first 3 games? He's taken over for a guy who'd been there a long time. His debut in Lexington in 100 days will be against Youngstown State, the Penguins. And then they're going to host Alabama, and then they're at A&M in week 3. Kentucky's first 3 games, they're playing 2 top 15 teams, Bama and A&M in College Station, week 3. Pete Golding at Ole Miss will be in the spotlight plenty in the first 3 weeks of the SEC season and college football season, as will Lane Kiffin and LSU. Those are 2 big storylines. Pete Golding was holding court yesterday at the SEC meeting, says no hard feelings with Lane, no hard feelings with Sark, any of that stuff. They're all buddies. But Pete Golding, Ole Miss opens on Labor Day Sunday. Texas will play Texas State the day before. The next day, Ole Miss will play Louisville with Jeff Brom in Nashville. That's the Music City Bowl game thing. That's good.
That's something.
So Ole Miss will play Louisville out of the ACC in Nashville. Then they're going to host Charlotte. And then that showdown, potentially volatile Week 3 showdown and welcome back Lane Kiffin game with LSU in Week 3. And we know Lane Kiffin and LSU will start the Lane Kiffin era, hosting Dabo Swinney and Clemson Week 1. Then they're going to play Louisiana Tech. Then they're going to Oxford. So coming in hot with LSU with 2 big games in the first 3. Alabama's got 2 big games in the first 3. Kentucky has 2 big games in the first 3. And as we mentioned, I don't know how good Kentucky's going to be, but A&M's got Arizona State and Kentucky in the first 3 weeks of the regular season. So the Aggies will get a tester early with Kenny Dillingham and his Sun Devils in the first part of the schedule. It's not Ohio State, but it is good. And then there's Hunter Yurachek. You're talking about the Heat and the schedule at 2:30 on the 5th, Jack, 100 days from now. Well, Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director at Arkansas, former head of the College Football Playoff Committee, this guy was so fired up about his team's schedule that was announced yesterday that he fired off a 5-paragraph open letter to whoever anybody wanted to read it and his fan base to express, here's the opening line, his displeasure and concern with the Razorbacks' early slate. His concern, they have a late, week 2, they go to Utah to play the Utes and their new head coach. From coach and waiting, essentially. So they go to Utah. That game kicks at 9:15 Fayetteville time. And then they're scheduled week 3, and they play at 11 a.m. in Athens, Georgia, between the hedges. So they go to Utah West. They come back to go to Athens, and one's won't end until after midnight, and then they'll get back, and then they got to go to Athens for a morning game the next week. So he was not happy about that.
I think that's valid. I know everyone was criticizing him for complaining, and he is the chairman of the College Football Playoff Committee. But
he's not anymore.
Right. But, I mean, that sucks.
It does.
If we were in a meeting and you started throwing those around, I'd be like, hey, can I swap with somebody? Can we switch these around? Because Utah's always, they've been down for the last few years, but Utah's a solid team. Got to go out there, different time zone, got to fly back. Then you got to go to Georgia the next week at 11 a.m. Like, that is tough.
Yeah,
I would say, hey, can we do something about that? But everyone's going to make fun of him for putting out a letter.
5 paragraphs.
Here's a letter.
He was so stern. But again, listen, TV pays all these guys huge salaries, right? TV runs this operation, the revenue created by these TV games. And if Arkansas had won more than 4 games last year, they probably wouldn't be playing Georgia at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, that'd probably be a better game.
And, the schedule's the schedule. You're playing Georgia. You want that to be a night game? And if you're playing West, if you agree to play a game at Utah, which they did as a program, they didn't, the SEC didn't schedule the Utah game. They did. Well, TV's going to tell you where that is. In Utah, they want that late West Coast window. So, yeah, sorry, Arkansas. It sucks for you. But you'll be 1-3. You'll be 1-3 because I don't know that they'll beat Utah. And they have a new head coach too. Brought in the guy from Memphis, to be their head coach. So there you go. Those are my highlights from the first 3 weeks. Did you see anything? Did you glean anything out of the first 3 weeks of SEC games announced yesterday?
Yeah, just looking at week 1, I think you get a pretty solid appetizer. It's nothing crazy, but you start. It's a good opening act. You go see a concert. You never know what you're going to get with the opening act. But Baylor and Auburn.
Yeah, that's the first game.
Yeah.
The first one, the Missouri-Arkansas Pine Bluff, but the first important game is, they're calling that the Aflac kickoff game in Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL, that could be something. DJ Lagway and Baylor, they've been a good program in the past during the 2010s, and Auburn.
2:30 in the afternoon on the 5th, 100 days from now. That to be the same time Texas is playing Texas State.
They got a whole new thing going. Then you have Clemson at LSU, of course, and then the next day you have Louisville and Ole Miss. That's a pretty good week 1. I mean, all things good. We talk about how there's no good out-of-conference games anymore. Those are solid.